Okay, guys. Yesterday, officially here in the U.S., and earlier, about a week or so earlier in other parts of the world, Sunset's Backstage Pass officially debuted on Discovery Family. Now, we've been getting parts of it on the YouTube channel. You know, they've been basically YouTube's thing with some of the Equestria Girls specials, especially with the My Little Pony and Hasbro channels. Basically, what they'd be doing is giving us parts of a full-length special in 10-part intervals. So, like 1 week we'd get one part, and then the next week we'd get another part, stuff like that. Until they finally build up to the official release on television. So that's what they did with Sunset's Backstage Pass. And of course I'm doing this unscripted and on the fly, but anyway, they did that with Sunset's Backstage Pass yesterday. Yesterday I should say was the official US debut of Sunset's Backstage Pass on Discovery Family after weeks of building up to it with the interval parts here and there. So, anyway, long story short, Sunset's Backstage Pass, apparently, according to Nick Califone and Equestria Daily, let me make sure I get that right. Make sure I get that right here. But according to Nick Califone, or something like that. In fact, it's one of the top articles, the more recent articles on Equestria Daily. But according to Nick Califone, that's Confalone, like loan, Nick Califone, who worked on the series, and this is what he said when a fan asked him about the special. One fan asked him, "Was this the final special conceived before the show's end? In other words, before Friendship is Magic was over?" And Nick Califone, Nick Conflone, easy, not easy for me to say. Nick Conflone said this. This is what Nick said in response to that question. He said, and I quote, "It ended up being the final special, although we didn't know it would be at the time. We even had plans laid out for a season 2 finale special and a third season, but things didn't work out." So, yeah, apparently there were more plans for Equestria Girls specials to happen, but apparently the plug was pulled on those. I guess as far as DHX is concerned, I don't know about maybe them going to Boulder Media or somebody to finish it up, but right now, yeah, Sunset's Backstage Pass was the final Equestria Girls special. Now, I know for anybody that became a fan of Equestria Girls through Friendship is Magic, and like me, was kind of unsure about it at first, but slowly started to be like, maybe it's okay and all that, and started to basically have more of an appreciation for it. I mean, I think what really got me finally, to kind of appreciate Equestria Girls is the fact of what they did with Mirror Magic, and then later on with like I say, with Mirror Magic, and then later on what they did with Forgotten Friendship, and even Summer Breakdown, and that's bringing Sunset back to Equestria, because that's what fans have been wanting. I mean, fans were okay with the show. I mean, the show at times did show that it was aimed more at an older audience. You could tell that. But I think what kind of made Equestria Girls a little bit divided by the fans was the fact that it was basically looked at when it first was conceived, first brought into existence, and then even to this day, believe it or not, even to this day, was conceived to be nothing more than a cash cow or cash in by Hasbro on the whole Monster High craze. Because you got to remember, at the time when Equestria Girls debuted, Monster High, that franchise, was a big hit. And everybody wanted in on it. Even Disney wanted in on it with the Ever After series. And as well as with Descendants and the High School Musical, stuff like that. Well, I think High School Musical came before, but you get the idea. You get the idea, right? I mean, basically, when it came to things like Monster High, they wanted in on it with the Ever After, the Descendants, stuff like that. Hasbro was no different, and they decided, you know what, how could we capitalize on that? And they decided, you know what? We'll just take a popular franchise that we have right now in My Little Pony, and we'll go and create our own version with those same characters, but we'll call it something else. And what they called it was Equestria Girls. That's basically what it was. And like I said, over time it did grow on a lot of people. Not a lot of people were sure about it. Were totally sure about it. I mean, yeah, they brought people in with the first one and the second one by having Twilight from Friendship is Magic cross over to connect the two series. But in the end, I'm guessing that even though it was very popular and fans still loved it, it just didn't reach the heights that Friendship is Magic did. And instead of giving it I'm guessing instead of letting them have instead of letting the people working on the series give it a proper ending, like according to what Nick they had planned out, they decided, nope, it stops here. Now, it may stop with DHX Media, but that doesn't mean someone else won't pick up the slack and say, you know what, we'll take over, we'll finish it up for you. Because one has to admit that this is kind of a strange way to end the Equestria Girls specials. Now, he does say they had plans laid out for a season 2 finale special. Now, what that means probably is we're going to get something short-wise, maybe short-wise. Maybe, I'm not saying we will. Maybe we'll get something short-wise that will act somewhat like a closing of the series, like kind of give the series some closure. Now, what this probably does do, if you think about it, if it's not already been done, because they did wrap up production and everything on Friendship is Magic, is it probably opened the door for them to bring Sunset into Friendship is Magic, especially in time for the finale. Whether or not that does happen, we're not really sure, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people will agree that ending Sunset's run in the series on this note is not the best way of doing it. I mean, yes, it is nice to have, it is, I mean, when one thinks about it, it is nice to kind of end the series with a special focused on Sunset, because basically that's how you kind of help put the series on the map, by making Sunset your focused character, your star character. But a lot of fans are basically going to be like, look, this is not how, we want Sunset to go. A lot of fans are probably going to be in agreement that this is not how they want Sunset to go out. So my guess is, well, probably, not saying it's going to happen, because again, we don't know how they wrapped up the series. But my prediction, maybe, and it could be wrong, is we might see Sunset in the finale for Friendship is Magic. It makes sense for that to happen if you're going to, finish off the series and bring both to an end, or put closure on both. Now, I know some people will probably read Nick's Twitter on this, or tweet on this, and a lot of them might not believe what he has to say about the fact that this is it. This is the last Equestria Girls stuff. That there's probably more. Now, he does say it's the last special, But some might even say, well, it's the last special. Doesn't mean it's the last Equestria Girls anything. We could get a movie, and that's true. We could probably get a movie as a finale too, but we're not really sure. But my personal opinion is, I think we have not seen the last of Sunset. There's definitely going to be more shorts, hopefully added, and I think we are going to get some kind of closure. Whether it's through Friendship is Magic and Sunset returning for that, and that's everything coming full circle in the finale, or if they have something, or they're going to surprise us with something in the end, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, apparently Sunset's Backstage Pass is the last Equestria Girl special for the time being. Again, they could surprise us and give us one more. Maybe not through DHX, but maybe Boulder Media. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. Because again, I don't think this is the end. I don't think it's the end at all of Sunset. I think we're going to see her again. We might, like I said, we might see her in Friendship is Magic's series finale. That's something to really think about in the long run. We might. Again, I'm not saying we will. I don't know what they planned out or what they did to give the main 7, main 8, if you will, a proper send-off. But we'll have to wait and see, because this to me, I mean, even though it's a good story from what, and it potentially is a good story, because all I did was DVR and then DVR record and then DVD record it, so it gives me time to watch it when I want. But basically, even though, and even Dr. Wolf said he enjoyed it, even though this is a great, funny story, and it's probably a good way to wrap up Sunset's, not wrap up, but kind of at the time bring an end to Equestria Girls. It still feels kind of off. It's like yeah, it's nice that you're ending it like this, but it doesn't feel complete. It's like something is missing. And to me, I think they know that. I think the people behind the scenes know that, and hopefully they're going to, if not already, have addressed that. And whether it's in the finale of Friendship is Magic or it's something later on, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it says Sunset's Backstage Pass is the last finale, is the last EQG special. I find it hard to believe, but we'll have to wait and see. So let me know what you guys think, though, down below. Comment if you like. Talk to y'all later.